Good afternoon, everybody. Today I am presenting a rare case of endometrioma which posed quite a few challenges in diagnosis and then later in management. Now, this is a 39-year-old female who's residing in Malaysia. She complained of dysmenorrhea and gradually increasing perineal pain for the last 2 years. And it kept on increasing gradually, and she started feeling a lump also in the perineum. Now, she took it for an anal problem and she consulted 2 to 3 surgeons there who treated her for piles, but she did not get any relief. Then she was referred to a colorectal surgeon there only, who got her MRI perineum done in February 2024. And the report said there is a 3.8 into 2.5 into 3 centimeter lobulated enhancing mass at the right perianal region spanning from 7 to 12 o'clock position. There was no involvement of sphincters, no fistula, or everything else was normal. No surrounding areas were infiltrated. Apart from a few fibroids, the uterus was normal. So the conclusion was 3.8 into 2.5 into 3 centimeter right perianal mass with enhancement and lobulation, and this lesion is suggestive of a malignant mass. Now, he took a biopsy from the mass and microscopic description was consistent with right perianal lesion, that was endometriosis. It showed endometrial glands surrounded by endometrial stroma and hemosiderin-laden macrophages and chronic inflammatory cell infiltrates. There was no evidence of malignancy. Now, he referred this patient to a gynecologist there itself. She gave her GnRH analog, that is injection Zoladex. She gave her 1 injection every month for 3 doses. Starting from February 2024, she became amenorrheic after these injections and she was relieved of her symptoms. She started having her periods again in June 2024. And after that, she came to me with this history, with all these details and diagnosis in August 2024. At that time, her periods were regular. She had mild dysmenorrhea, and there was mild pain in the perineum. Obstetric history, she is para 1, no abortion, and she had 1 full-term normal delivery 9 years back in Pushpanjali Medical Center, conducted by me. So on local examination, I found a tender mass about 4 into 4 centimeters, felt on right side perineum. It was just short of anus. On PS examination, cervix and vagina were healthy. PV cervix downwards, uterus anteverted, fornix is free. On PR, sphincter was intact and anal and rectal mucosa felt normal. So I advised her to get the mass excised after investigations, but she didn't get it done at that time because she had come to India for just 1 week. So she came back after 3 months in November with severe pain and during periods and after periods, and the size of the mass had also increased and it was reaching up to the anus. At that point of time, she had been taking 4 to 5 tablets of Combiflam every cycle for the past 2 months. But there was no history of dyspareunia or difficulty in defecation. So I advised her to get an MRI abdomen and perineum done, and that is the report. Now, so this is the MRI picture. Here is the bladder, this is the uterus, and behind that we see the rectum. And this is the mass which is just abutting the anal canal. And this is the report said that there are few radiating strands seen from the lesion. The lesion is extending into the right istioanal fossa and shows adhesions with the adjacent anal sphincter. So the visualized levator ani muscles as well as anal canal otherwise appear normal. MR imaging findings are suspicious for episiotomy, scar endometriosis. Now, since the report showed adhesions with anal sphincter, I consulted our senior surgeon, Dr. Yogesh Chham. I think he's not there. And we took her up for surgery post-menstrually in December. I also roped in Dr. Manoj Bansal, our plastic surgeon, in case a graft was required. So per-operatively, we gave an elliptical incision over the mass, removing as little skin as possible. Mass with clear margins was excised, taking care not to injure anal sphincter fibers. Then skin was mobilized to cover the defect and no graft was required. So these are the pictures. So first picture showed the elliptical incision. Second shows the removal of the mass with clear margins. In third, we have mobilized the skin. And fourth is the end picture stitched. I think there is a slide missing. Now patient left the hospital. I don't know, the one slide is missing. The patient left the hospital after 2 days on antibiotics and painkillers. Her stitches healed properly, and after 3 weeks, she flew back to Malaysia. And now since then, she's had 4 menstrual cycles. She's off the painkillers. She does not have any pain. There is no lump in the perineum, and she is having a very good quality life. And the biopsy, of course, it was consistent with scar endometriosis. Now, a little bit theory. So what is endometriosis? This is still an enigma. Is defined as the presence of ectopic endometrial tissue outside the uterine cavity. This is a benign condition which is estrogen dependent and slow growing. So it can occur in pelvic and extrapelvic sites. Pelvic sites are ovary, uterosacral ligaments, rectovaginal septum, rectum, bowel, urinary bladder, ureter. And extrapelvic sites are cesarean scar, perineal scar, umbilicus, inguinal region, thorax, lungs, and recently somebody posted a case of endometriosis sternum. Sternum, that's a rare site. So perineal scar endometriosis as such, it is very rare, the incidence being 0.03 to 0.15% of all vaginal deliveries. So first case was reported in 1923 by Schickel. Concurrent pelvic endometriosis is seen in 25% cases, though our patient did not have any pelvic endometriosis. It can lead to significant morbidity due to local infiltration. As we all know, the exact etiology of endometriosis is not known, hence various theories. So they are retrograde menstruation, direct implantation of cells mainly for scar endometriosis, lymphatic dissemination, hematogenous spread, immunological factors, familial factors, and transformation of peritoneal mesothelium. So how do we diagnose? We have a classic triad of symptoms, which are episiotomy or past perineal tear, tender mass or nodule in perineal region, and cyclic and progressive perineal pain. Ultrasound is the most commonly used imaging method, showing a hyperechoic nodule with irregular and blurred margins that infiltrate the surrounding tissues. Advancements in endoanal ultrasound can help in planning the surgery. Now, MRI is a useful modality to diagnose, assess the deeper extensions, and plan the surgery. Differential diagnosis, we have suture granuloma, desmoid tumor, sarcoma, or metastatic malignancy. Treatment, surgical excision with clear margins of approximately 1 centimeter of healthy tissue is the definitive treatment. Sphincteroplasty is required if anal sphincter is involved. Now, care should be taken not to injure nearby structures like rectum, anal sphincter, and pudendal nerve. Only medical treatment with progestogens, OCPs, GnRH analogs, or antagonists give only temporary relief. They do not cure these nodules. So they can be combined with surgery if complete excision is not possible. So complications, anal sphincter involvement, rectum involvement, recurrence, and sometimes malignant transformation. So the conclusion is heightened awareness of this condition, only then we can diagnose this. Early diagnosis, timely intervention, proper excision with clear wide margins, and these factors relieve the patient and improves her quality of life. Thank you.